Okay, I know. All of this controversy over this comic happened months ago, and probably everyone wants to forget about this now. But here I am, coming with salt to spread it all over the open wounds. However, I unfortunately have this idea, and if I won't get it out somewhere, something will start to boil inside of me. I would name it an artist paradox of some sort. We need to let our ideas out to not get fixated over it, you know? So in order to do this video, I of course had to read the source first. And what do I have to say about this? Well, let's say this another way. Was it terrible? No. But was it good? Hell no. Then what was it, in my opinion? It was readable comic that threw in no superhero just for clout. It wasn't as horrific as people are saying it is, but at the same time, I actually had moments where when I was reading, I've had to stop, get myself away from this comic, breathe in, breathe out, and only then I was able to go further. Yes, that might sound like an exaggeration, but let's say that the moment I read Ophelia from Hamlet would be better character if it was written by a woman. Then I just couldn't. However, I'm still having a lot of issues with this comic. Mostly its story and the way they portrayed characters. Like, all of them. Maybe except Beast Boy, Cyborg and Raven. They just be chilling in the background. With Nightwing's fine cheeks. Like, no, really. Okay, but like, hear me out on this one. You are reading this comic normally, right? You see some titans, everything is normal, nothing is happening, right? And then... and then you see this! At first I was like, what the fuck is happening with Raven's mask? Then I noticed that Beast is a ball, how cute. And then I noticed Robin's cheeks. And you would think that this is happening on only this panel, right? Wrong! Artists knew what they were doing. And I love it! I'm not mad, I'm not disappointed, I'm actually proud. I'm so proud. Also, when we are at the way things are drawn, I actually really like the art style. It's really far from my own. I mean, in iamnotstarfire, the style is very delicate, when for my comics and art overall, I like to use rather sharper, visible black outlines. Also, some people might say that iamnotstarfire's art is not fitting for hero comic. I saw those type of reviews. However, personally I would say that I am a fan of non-fitting art styles to the story. For example, The Promised Neverland. The art is all cutesy until you get to this one scene. No spoilers though, who knows, knows. Or Jibaku Shonen Hanako-kun. The style is also all cutesy, yet shit can go really deep at times. Especially if you are a manga reader. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Other example with the same rules would be also of course Made in Abyss. I still have some trauma after this one. That's the examples I can think off top of my head. However, I feel like my point have been proven enough. The style doesn't have to match the writing. But where would be my redesign and rewrite stand then? Well, let me get you through with this idea, while the set redesign speedpaint will be playing in the background. So at first let's actually go with Starfire. First of all, Starfire actually was one of my favorite characters. Not my new one, because that place took long ago Beast Boy, cause he's kind of similar to me in some way or another. He's vegetarian just like me, felt thanks to him normal among other kids at my age that had different diet than mine. Likes animals just like me, and he actually introduced me to tofu. Like, literally, I tried tofu only because of this character. Thanks, Beastie. But it's not about Beast, or me in this matter. It's about Starfire. So she was one of my favorites, because I have found her really cheerful, really cute in her weirdness, and her story arcs in Teen Titans are actually one of my favorites. Again, not the favorites, because that place takes episodes where Cyborg becomes leader of Teen Titans 2. Like, I would literally watch full series with that squad. But that's whole another tema. Again, back to Starfire. Like I said, she was really cheerful, always trying to understand everyone's point of view and all that. Hence her portrait in I Am Not Starfire is really not in the character. Like at all. Oh hey, there's something wrong with my daughter and I can see it, but I'm not gonna ask it. While we all know that Starfire for sure would actually try to talk with her daughter and try to understand her. Yet they made her look like she doesn't like the look of her emo goth daughter. Like hello, her best friend is freaking Raven! Do I really have to remind how Raven looks, talks, and behaves? Yet somehow she and Starfire got along really well. Yeah, best friends and daughters are not the same thing, but at the same time, wouldn't it make Starfire actually more acceptable towards her daughter's style? Like from my own home. When I once dyed my hair, my mom was like, okay, cool. Even my school and classmates were cool with that. The teacher says it's nice. So come on! Why would then of all people Starfire be mad at such little change? Also, there are a lot of scenes where Mandy eats some kind of junk food. And Starfire is actually concerned because damn right she is. It's not healthy to anyone to eat so much junk food. Like, it's called junk food for a reason, right? So why even antagonizing that? Yeah, it's all from Mandy's point of view, but was it really that necessary? Anyway, let's stop with the way she behaves and what choices she makes in the comic, and instead let's talk about her look. I actually really liked her design in the comic. Her glowing skin, colors of her hair and clothes. Really nice. I'm gonna give them that. So my take on Starfire is: my plan involves long curly hair that kind of look like a fire and goes from red to orange till it turns to yellow. To be honest, I actually suck at drawing curly hair. I just don't get the logic in their curliness. But I am always trying my best. For her skin, I actually decided to steal idea from I Am Not Starfire. To be precise, I made her skin glow a little here and there, because I genuinely like this concept. You may also notice that she looks older. That's intentional. If she seems old to you, I made my job right. I noticed that in I Am Not Starfire, Starfire looks really young for mother of a teenage daughter. I mean, maybe if she had kid at particularly young age, but really, what hero would think about having kids so early? So my idea was to actually make Starfire seem like a mom of a teenage kid. So in her early 40s, let's say. You may also notice that I added her some wrinkles next to her eyes. It's because when people smile a lot, they are left with such wrinkles later in life. And because I believe that Starfire is pure joyness and heart of her team, I decided to show it that way. When it comes to her clothes, I have something to announce. I suck at designing hero outfits. Well, I suck at designing clothes overall, to be honest. But I won't learn until I will try, right? So first of all, the concept of her powers is that she gets some kind of particles from the space or something. And that's why her skin needs to be exposed. Kinda cool concept, but let's be honest, it screams fan service. Not that it's something bad to show a little more skin, right? Besides, thanks to that I can show her abs, because yes, for abs on the stomach! I wish to have some too. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Anyway, if the clothes will seem somewhat similar to you, it's because I like to mix different type of concept arts for one character. That's why I mixed her 2003 cartoon version, 80s comic version, animated Justice League one, and the one from 2017 comic, I believe. Everything was kept of course in violet color, with exception to her armor and red crystals. Next, Mandy, or should I say Nightstar, because that is actually the name of Starfire's daughter in original comics. I'm pretty sure that she was at least introduced in the era of the original comics. So first of all, I actually don't mind Mandy's design as a character, like it looks pretty much normal to me. However, the problem is that she is supposed to be Starfire's daughter, while she completely doesn't look like Starfire's daughter. Like, even if authors gave her orange hair as her natural ones and green eyes, it doesn't magically make her Starfire's daughter. Like, what about orange skin or the fact that she actually has green sclera instead of white? Like, okay, Mandy is supposed to be half human, but like, would human genes really overpower alien genes this much? Like, come on! So I decided to repair it. Also, I'm sorry to all chubby people who probably would like to see more representation of some sort in the media, like comics, shows, films, books, etc. But I decided to rid of the chubbiness too, because it just wasn't going to work with my rewrite of the story. But let's go back to Mandy and her character overall for a second. She's rather unlikable. I know, many people have said that before, but let's go a little deeper into that. Because on some little parts I actually identified with her, but then again, she says so many hurtful things to her mom, people around her, and even her crush. Yet she doesn't really say sorry for it. I mean, she kinda does, but only when her mother is kind of dying, so it doesn't feel like it came from her heart. Nor does anything backfires on her. In fact, in the end, she got her crush. I still don't get why. Like, what did the crush say in Mandy? Like, they didn't have any particular moments or so. However, when I am at the crush part, I also cut her out. Like, does a story for teenagers really need any romance in it? I don't think so. And I am terrible at romance, so better for me. Though, from what I understand from the DC lore, by the way, never go into that rabbit hole of all those lores. That shit do be crazy. Nightstar actually ended up with Damian Wayne, aka Lich the maid son of Batman and Talia al Ghul, which is kinda cute if you ask me. I mean, daughter of Nightwing, aka the first Robin, with son by blood of Batman together? It sounds really cute once you think about all the connections. And it's not Alabama because first Robin wasn't son of Batman. Batman kinda took him in after his parents got murdered in the circus. But let's not go that far into the lore. I guess that everyone knows how it goes. Anyway, you may see on the video that I actually draw her in two different outfits. So one is supposed to be her before she gets Hero 1, which was inspired by gym uniforms for young girls. I remember that back when I was going to elementary school, sport class had those during the PE, just all black instead of some colors with patterns. I also remember that at some point I actually was offered by PE teacher to join the sport class, because they thought that I've had some talents for gymnastics. Well, now I regret that I didn't go with it, because gymnastics actually were kinda cool. Maybe I would have made some career off of it. Well, screw little me, my shannas and those bitches from sport class that gave me dirty look the moment they've heard what PE teacher has proposed to me. But I can turn back the time now. Things just happen, you know? Just a random fun fact from my life. Oh, and also, the set outfit is kind of a tribute to the first Robin outfit, at least her kinda Peter Pan inspired shoes. Her second outfit on the other hand is of course Hero 1, heavily inspired via some Nightstar fanarts and of course her original design. However, you may notice that compared to her original design, she is completely flat. I decided that I wanted Nightstar to be around the age of 14, and of course girls at that age can have a little more mature proportions. However, I decided that it will be the best for her design if I will make her a little flatter. When it comes to her look overall, because she is daughter of Starfire and Nightwing, it was obvious that I needed to mix it. So skin and eyes are after Starfire and hair is after Nightwing. Okay, I have said a lot about their designs, but what about the story itself? It was supposed to be redesign and rewrite, right? Well, how about I will just show you the idea. But before that, some quick clearings. I am by any means no voice actress, so I'm sorry for any ears bleeding. I have problems with clogged nose, so please excuse also that. I don't know any man who could do Nightwing, so I've had to do this role too. I am terrible at first-person narration, however to make it quick and understandable enough for a video, I have chosen this type of narration and no other. I am terrible at editing my voice. English is not my first language, so sorry for any spelling mistakes. It was recorded before I drew anything, so some expressions might not match with my voice tone. Since the day I was born, I was never allowed to go outside my home. My parents have been parenting me one changing the other at home. I was being tutored by them at home, and I have been trained by them. Your pose is a little wrong, honey. Don't force yourself too much, you will get it eventually. Which, guess what? In our home. After Grandpa Bruce, aka the original Batman, had died, we started living in his mansion. At first, Grandpa wanted to transform it into orphanage. After all, he had some obsession over adopting countless amounts of kids while still being alive.
Master Bruce, what have you came up with this time? I adopted him!
However, all the heroes
You will be so I should be disappointed. Think of such stupid.
including the mom himself, agreed that it could be too dangerous for little kids if one of them would accidentally discover how to go into the sacred Batcave. Instead, Grandpa decided to build a whole new kids-friendly mansion where he made sure to give kids everything that they could dream of. Not to mention that it was at least 3 times bigger than his original mansion. However, when it comes to me, my dreams could never be fulfilled. From when I can remember, I always wanted to be a hero. Oh my!
You have a talent, sweetie. Maybe you will become an artist.
Just like Mom, Dad, Grandpa, aunts and uncles. I was trained day and night. Speaking about night, I still haven't introduced myself. I'm Nightstar, daughter of Nightweek and Starfire. Kind of obvious from my name. But what would a daughter of the sweetest woman in the world and a man who had stolen this woman's heart have any problems at all? Well, every story has its beginning somewhere. And my story does not start up so well. Oh, come on, Mom! Don't you think that I'm old enough to become one of heroes too? I have been training for this all my life. I'm ready for any danger. Nightstar. Besides, there's so much heroes that started at my age. Or even younger. Like that! Or you! Nightstar! I do this to protect you. I have almost died countless of times. Your father too. And even thinking about losing you, I cannot bear with this. You have been training your whole life in order to protect yourself. Unfortunately, everyone knows my identity. It's not that easy to hide that I'm from another planet. And if someone would have chosen to go after me, find where we live and find who you are, if we wouldn't be there for you, I wanted you to be at least ready for such danger. And what is the difference between that and fighting in order to save everyone else? I already can't have normal life thanks to how I look! It's not that I wanted you to look like that. I would love if you would have been born as a normal human. You could have normal life. You could go out, learn in school, have friends, pursue your dreams and go to job. Well, I'm sorry that I wasn't born the way that you wanted me to. Night? Did I go too far? I didn't mean it that way. I love her the way she is. I always loved her, and will love her for who she is.
I know. I should have said something too. I'm sorry. I couldn't find the right moment. No, I couldn't get enough courage to say something that parent would say. I guess that having a teenage kid really isn't easy. Now I feel kinda bad for Batman. I must have been a little shit to him growing up.
At least you know how to make me feel better. I should go and look for her. I will try to make some compromise. Maybe she is somewhat right. And I am overprotective. Maybe we can find a solution where everyone would be happy.
Fine. And I will stay and clean all this mess. What have I gotten myself into? I should have never, under any condition, agree on what if an unknown person entered your house while you are sitting in the salon full of many fragile things. Why does billionaires even buy so many useless fragile things?
And who do we have here? What do you want? Don't you see that I'm busy? Busy crying?
Yes.
But why would a warrior like you cry? Warrior? Look at me. Don't we look alike a little? We are Tamarinians. We are warriors by blood. By blood? Has this stupid sister of mine never told you anything? Sister? You mean my mom? Well, of course. She has always been pain in the ass. Miss Little Goody Two Shoes. Say, she's probably the one who made you cry like that, sitting all alone on some random floating comet. Maybe she... She said that she wished that I would be born human. Can you believe? Instead, because I was born as an alien, she became overprotective because bad guys will come and harm me. But she also trained me to take care of those bad guys. And where is there any logic? I can take care of myself. No problem would I take care of the whole city. You are not some alien. You are Tamarinian, and better remember this name. We are born warriors. And your mother, by taking you away from fighting, is taking you as well away from your ancestors. That's horrible, I know! But I believe that you don't want the same as your mother. You don't want to be the same as your mother. The same as your mother? What do you mean by that? Just look at you. Do they look any red to you? Because for me they look completely black. The same as mine. They look as black as a black hole. Destructive, unpredictable black hole. Say, have you ever thought about being anti-hero? Okay, I know, the whole black hole thing is kinda cringy. However, hear me out on this one. So you know how not so long ago researchers actually made a photo of a black hole? And it came out that it isn't entirely black, but actually has an accent of red, orange and yellow. And what does these three colors remind you of? Well, of course Starfire. So I can imagine Nightstar having this kind of a moment of realization, while in the background is a black hole. Like, it isn't entirely black. It has colors like red, orange and yellow. It's so similar to my mom. Oh crap, I really messed up. You know, that kind of thing. And also it gives learning values. I see here only pros. Also, I haven't really mentioned Blackfire, did I? So I personally hate villains that are bad just for the sake of being bad. Like, really? Where is there any writing? Even villains deserve some love of an author put in them. So in my version, she is deprived of the throne and exiled from her planet for good because of what she had done to Starfire, like prisoned her, make her a slave, or something along those lines, you know? And because of her tyranny over her planet. Instead, because Starfire chosen to stay on the Earth, the throne was bestowed to Starfire's nanny. You know, the big guy with a scar and big beard. Galfor is his name. So the motive of Blackfire would be to get her throne back, but because she is kind of not welcomed there, she would try and use Nightstar, who, because she is Starfire's daughter, has the right to the throne. And because she is only a kid in Blackfire's eyes, she would have been perfect target to manipulate her and make her kind of a puppet of some sort. You know, Nightstar would be the face while Blackstar would be the one pulling the strings behind the scene. And also, like I said before, I don't like villains who are bad because they are bad. And I would also include some sort of backstory, where Blackstar, in comparison to her sister, was unable to get her powers at a young age. So she trained and trained away from her home until she got more powerful than Starfire, and then, you know, out of jealousy, she would go nuts and the whole prison slave Starfire happened. I also say that I would have done it, because, I mean, I don't have time for it. It's only a rough idea to also perhaps strike someone else's imagine as to how it would have looked. I mean, it's not like Warner Bros. Is paying me for this idea, I'm kind of doing this for free. So, yeah. There is, however, one more problem that we need to solve when it comes to this idea of mine. The title and the cover of the comic. Because yes, I even think about such small stuff. So, first of all, the cover. I actually hate it. Like Starfire, honey, where the fuck are you looking at? So I wanted to change that. Why look at whatever there is in this white cover? Well, you can look at your daughter with a little subtle smile. And also the main person in the cover, Nightstar. I wanted her to actually do something else than just standing. So I made her fly, which made the cover much more dynamic and much more eye-catching, at least in my opinion. Last but not least, the title itself. Let's actually left it the way it is. But let's add one more face. I am not Starfire. I am Nightstar. So I just gave the main hero of the comic some kind of definition. Like, okay, if she's not a Starfire, then who she is? And then you have the answer. Nightstar. But who is Nightstar and why does she not want to be like her mom? Well, you have to find for yourself. And there you go, free marketing. There was also a second idea where instead of changing Mandy, I would change her mother, who wouldn't be a hero called Starfire, but a model called Stephanie who has eating disorder. But after reading through this idea of mine second, third, and even fourth time, yeah, I don't like what I wrote down as much as I liked it the first time. So I'm just gonna cut it out and make this way a shorter video, because I learned the painful way that maybe making a long video isn't always worth it. But yeah, stay healthy, eat healthy, and yada yada yada, and see you later my chicks and watchers. Bye bye!